Today we're going to be talking about relationships in the military and everything that goes into them, whether it's with a significant other, it's with family, and all of the above, right? I got my two friends, one of them being my brother, Joseph, and my buddy, David, who is also my roommate. He's a veteran now, and he's currently serving, and they're going to provide some input as well, but without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, what is up guys? Ben Allen back again with another video, and like I just said, we're going to be talking about relationships in the military, primarily the Army, because that's the branch we were all in / still currently in. This is David. He was in the 82nd Airborne. He got out around the same time I did. He's also Airborne qualified. Joseph, he's a 19 Delta Cav Scout. He's currently at Fort Hood. He did some time in Germany. I'll link their Instagrams down below if you have any questions for them whatsoever. I did active duty as a medic for about 4 years. Got out in 2019. Did the reserves for a year and a half. Just got out in August, so I have that knowledge. All of us do. So if you have any questions, hit us up on our Instagrams. Like I just said, they'll be linked down below. Mine is at Ben_Allen175. Right, best possible place to reach me. I try to get back to everybody in a week. And like this video, guys. Send this to somebody that's going to basic training that has a girlfriend that they think is going to last for the end of their life, right? Because I'm telling you, basic training, the Army is going to throw it for a curveball. I promise you that. And our goal here is to hit 100,000 subscribers in the next 6 months. So I need y'all to smash that subscribe button. Smash it right now. I'm telling you guys, these guys are both subscribed. They know what it is. My brother's face, he's like, nah, I'm not subscribed. But anyway, with all that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and jump straight into the topic. We're going to save the significant other part of this video towards the end, so stay tuned. And right now we're going to talk about family relationships and how the military impacts those. So first of all, like you're not going to get to see them a whole lot, and I'm going to let my brother elaborate on this in a bit here because he has a lot of experience with this. We both have missed a significant amount of funerals in our family and just family events in general due to the military. And so to talk on that, like I get asked all the time, like how can we go see them, like what if we don't have leave, all that stuff. Typically, unless like somebody's dead in your immediate family, like I'm talking like your mom, dad, and maybe your brother or sister, then they'll possibly allow you to take emergency leave to go visit them, you know, for the funeral and whatnot. But other than that, like a family vacation, a family trip, all that type of stuff, like just seeing a cousin that's coming down for the weekend you haven't seen in years, the Army probably is not going to allow you to see that individual or let you take leave to go see that individual. Maybe if you have a 4-day, it's possible, but other than that, it does take a toll because you're not able to have that easy access to your family like you would normally do if you were a civilian. And now I'm going to segue it off to my brother, who's going to talk about, you know, how difficult it can be because, you know, he's been in Germany the last 2.5 years. You know, both of our uncles passed away and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm going to let him speak on it and how it can affect you both, you know, physically, mentally, all that type of stuff. And take it away, Joseph.
So yeah, so like the first time that this stuff started happening was like during, like it actually started in basic. So granted, like they waited until graduation day, like family day, and didn't really know how much the Army was gonna play a part on it. But it's kind of like unreal, to be honest with you, because it just comes out of nowhere. And honestly, there's like no way to prepare. Like honestly, like even to this day, it still doesn't feel real. Like it honestly doesn't. And immediately after like going from like basic to Germany, I still couldn't even go. Like I still didn't even know like how to cope, to be honest with you. So, and like especially going to a different place, very far out of my norm because I've lived in Texas all my life, and being in Germany, and like I think it was like a year until like next Christmas that I was able to actually go down and actually see the grave like of my past two uncles at the time. And honestly, like it's really hard, to be honest with you, like just being far away from everyone. Like yeah, you could text and call, but if everyone needs family, like I don't care who you are, like you're gonna need family, or even just friends like from back home and stuff like that. And being in Germany, like you just want that connection, like just to see them like in person, because it keeps it real and it keeps it like the emotions fresh. But being away for that long, it really, I can honestly say that it changed me as a person. Like honestly, I'm just a different guy, to be honest with you.
And to build off of what he said is that, you know, the Army just kept moving, and so that's a good thing. Like, say something like that does happen, right? Or there's like a big significant like family event, right? Like maybe your wife's having a kid, right? You may be able to go to the, usually they'll allow you to go and, you know, be there for the birth of your child, but sometimes there's things in the Army that just play a factor that don't allow you to be there for certain events, right? Or say you have like a baby shower coming up for a relative, or, you know, somebody passes away. That being one of the biggest things that could happen is that happens, and if they're not your immediate family, you're probably not going to be able to go visit. That's a loose probably, because not every unit's the same. Some commanders have hearts and they allow it, but on the other end, sometimes they don't, right? Like, I had a dude whose grandmother passed away, and they're like, sorry bro, like, we need you for training, and it was the most redundant training we've ever been doing at our unit. And like he was saying, right, the Army's moving so fast all the time that you don't really have time to like cope or adjust to what's been going on back home or with your family, significant others, and so it just kind of doesn't give you the time you need to process those emotions and deal with it as well. So I'm glad he brought that up, and I'm glad he provided his input, right? And so that's more like the family aspect of the military getting in the way, right? It's just they own you pretty much. They're not going to let you go and do the things you want to do, right? Like, you belong to them. He's got something to add. So
also with that stuff, like, the Army does understand that you can't always go to every person's like funeral and stuff like that. So that's why they do offer like behavioral health and like other resources for you to like try to find an easier way to cope. And like, I'm not gonna lie, like, me personally, like, I'm not afraid to say it, and honestly you shouldn't be. I honestly feel like you should seek the help that you need, because it gets pretty rough. But so there are other resources out there that will help you try to get through it.
Exactly. And so with that, guys, we're gonna go ahead and move on to what you guys have been waiting for, right? Relationships, like significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife type of stuff, because this shit's wild. This shit's fucking wild, I'm telling you. It's not always the case, but I'm gonna go ahead and say, based off of what I have seen, a good 80 to 85% of relationships,
maybe 90.
It's up there. It's up there. Face some sort of hardship or struggle, and if not, just outright end. Like, you know, during the time that they're together throughout the military. I'm talking boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wives. And if they don't end, somebody's getting cheated on, straight up. Like I know it's a little harsh, but it's real. It fucking happens. Like, it happened to me at Basic, and, you know, I mean, granted, I'm glad it happened because it opened up a lot of doors afterwards, so thank God, right? But it happens. And so I'm going to let David talk about it for a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and give my piece on my personal experience at AIT, which was like a glorified, like, fuck fest for people, pretty much, honestly. And like, just, you're seeing all these relationships, like people with wives and husbands and children just straight up cheating on each other. It's crazy, and we're gonna get into that after David go ahead and, you know, just talks about it for a little bit and what he's experienced personally.
Well, my only input is most relationships will end. That's not to say everyone will, but most of them will end. I think I had a relationship my first year going in through Basic, my first year in my unit, and that ended. The rest of the time I was in, I wasn't like Mr. Playboy over here.
No, I wasn't doing any of the fucking at AIT.
Oh, right,
I'm saying
okay.
other people were. I wasn't that cool.
He was worried about stuff.
I was not that cool.
He had
so.
to get 100 on his test.
Well, like I said, I wasn't like Mr. Stud over here,
Oh
but it's they're hard to, I guess, maintain or even, you know, get while you're in the military.
And what would you say are some of the biggest contributing factors to, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife relationships ending in the military?
That's just not a priority set for you, and not that you're setting the priorities, it's the Army itself that's setting the priorities for you. Even if you don't even think they are, I mean, they really are. They take up most of your time, especially if you're like just boyfriend or girlfriend, you're still living in the barracks. It's not a cool place to be. If you're married, I mean, it is a little bit better when you're married because you can actually go home to your spouse and end the day off with them, but most of the time, I mean, there's always something happening.
Training.
Joseph, do you have anything to add?
Just to like piggyback off what he said.
To piggyback off the veteran of you.
No, but it's true. Like, there's always constant training. Just other stuff that getting home late and stuff like that just plays factors in. Like for like spouse type that I've noticed. To be honest with you, it's just you have to have a real strong faith for it to actually get through and like work it out. And also along with that, there's also other services that actually help with that too. Like Army's good at taking shit away, but you know it knows what it's taking away, so it gives you a backup plan to cope with it. But yeah, there's like a bunch of stuff that you can work it out, but you have to be willing to like put the effort in. And I feel like that's what a lot of people just get exhausted with sometimes. But it does play a part.
All right, dope. Okay, sweet. So we got their input, which is awesome. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, drop them in the comments. Like, what do you guys think? Do you think your relationship will last, and why? But now jumping into like the nitty gritty, right? The meat and potatoes is like what I saw at AIT and just throughout my time in the military, right? So like basic, it was pretty chill, whatever. Like people are just too focused on the training to like do anything really, because you want to pass. Nobody wants to be stuck at basic for longer, right? But then you go to AIT and you're given a little more freedoms, right? And on top of those freedoms, you guys are allowed to start wearing civilians. So you take a bunch of dudes, a bunch of girls that have been at basic training for, you know, weeks on end at this point, right? And you throw them in civvies, and you know everybody's trying to. It's like the first day of fucking school. Like people are trying. Exactly. People are trying to show out and show up, and so they're dressing in their flyest clothes. And you're, you know, like if you're a girl, you're checking out the dudes. If you're a guy, you're checking out the girls, and you're just kind of like damn, you know. So like the hormones are ramping up, like David said, and you know, people are just trying to get in where they fit in, pretty much. And like I've seen people with, you know, husbands, wives, kids, just like straight up hooking up with people like left and right. There's like this area in AIT people would just go. It was like just a community bathroom, and they were just going there, bro. There was a company across from us that had this girl. They put her in a duffel bag. She consented. First of all, I just want to start off with that. She consented. They put her in a duffel bag, carried her up to the boys' stair room, and a few of the dudes and the girl, you know, they were going at it like. They were doing it, like I'm telling you, I'm pretty. And one of the dudes actually was in a relationship. He's still doing this shit. So
things are a little different if you're going through OSUT, though.
Yeah. So yeah. But this is AIT, right? And so that's one of the things that I saw. You know, a company across from us, right? There's multiple companies in our area, and you know they're doing that type of shit. Like I know we had an actual married couple in my platoon, and they were cheating on each other. They would get in an argument, and then the girl would go and like, you know, cheat on her husband, and the husband would try to do the same thing, but he didn't have much game, so he really didn't, you know, get to do anything. But it's crazy, guys. And I say my advice to you for going into the military with the relationship is a really set like the expectations and the boundaries and the standards for what you expect, and just know that you can't use, oh well, he hasn't texted me or she hasn't texted me in like months. No shit, she's at fucking training, right? Like people like cheat for the stupidest shit. They're just like, oh well, he hasn't messaged me at all, like I don't think he likes me anymore, so I'm just gonna go like fuck his brother or something. And you know what I mean? And don't do that. Be mature about it. And that's another thing. You have to be really mature when it comes to dating in the military. You have to understand that you're no longer that person's like first priority. You might still be, but the Army is going to try really hard to make that not a thing, right? Like David was talking about, priorities. And you have to go in there knowing that you have strong faith in your relationship, right? And check in every now and then, like text, FaceTime when you can, set up little FaceTime dates. Like these are things that can help save it. But in the end, I'm gonna be honest, like I personally do not think any relationship is safe in the Army or the military in general, just because there's always that small chance that something or someone could just have doubts, or they just have a moment of weakness, and then they're just like, all right, cool, like you know, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, that, and the other, right? And you know what happens, and sometimes they find out, sometimes they don't, and they just stay living a lie, or they end it. And if you're put in that situation, you get cheated on, don't try to fix it, bro. Just honestly, just end it, cut it out. Like, go find somebody that's worth your time and it's gonna put in the effort to stay around with you. And that's like at AIT, right? And same thing for like your duty stations. Like, you see all these like old ass E7s, bro, brand new, private, male or female, right? I'm not gonna discriminate here. Rolls up, right? You have like this like 30-some, 40-some year old E7, E8 that thinks just because they got some rank, right, they get a new private, you know, PFC or whatever, they're like, ha ha ha, and they're like, you know, they try to make a move because they try to use that position of power to, you know, get some benefits from it, right? Sometimes it happens. You hear stories about it all the time, right? And these E7s are, I'm not going to single out any specific rank. It can happen at any rank, right? You know, they have wives at home, they have children at home, but yet they're still shooting their shot, man. They're playing the game, and they shouldn't be doing that. They should be faithful to their wives or husbands, right? It doesn't matter.
That's just not how it is.
That's just not how it is, bro. The military is just a crazy place where I think it kind of just null and voids a relationship for the most part. Like, it should not be that way, but it kind of is. People just kind of feel like, oh, you know, it's the culture of the military to be doing that type of stuff, so they try to do it, or, you know, and all that stuff. And, you know, it's just not cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I think I hit on everything I needed to hit on for this video. Do you guys have anything to add? David, do you look like you want to say something?
Not really.
Okay, so not really. Joseph?
Nah.
All right, cool. Well, I really hope that helps out, guys. I wish I could have had a female military service member on here to give you guys that kind of perspective. But I did make one of these videos like 2 years ago with one of my buddies in my platoon that was a male, and another one of my buddies that was a female. So if you guys want to check that out as well, you know, feel free to do so. It's a banger video. We hit on a lot more other stuff. They give their personal stories. It's good to have, you know, a woman's opinion on the whole situation as well. But just know you got to go in there with a positive mindset and, you know, with some faith in your relationship. If not, it's going to fail. Don't be accusing unless you have a good solid backup, like proof to accuse somebody of doing something. And hopefully it lasts. But honestly, my biggest piece of advice to you is if you're in the military, bro, and you're trying to stay with some girl from high school, just have fun, man. End it. Just have fun. Like,
also, well, one thing is don't react off of just assumptions on both parties.
Yeah.
Because that's how things get started.
You know what they say about assuming, right? It makes an ass out of you and me. It spells assume. You get it? But yeah. Laugh cut. I'm playing. But yeah, honestly, guys, definitely exactly what David said. Don't assume, you know, and just try to get all the facts before, you know, you do something like that. And yeah, thank y'all for tuning into this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to follow our Instagrams. They'll be linked down below. Mine is at Ben_Allen175. David's is at
Diamond Day 14.
Joseph doesn't remember his off the top of his head.
I don't know.
If you guys have any questions on like 11 Bravo or Airborne, I will reply if you message me on Instagram. So
exactly. You know, we got a couple videos talking about infantry and airborne as well, if you guys want to check those out. If you guys want us to do more videos together and you like this little change up to the channel, let me know down in the comment section what topics you want us to hit. We'll come up with a special segment for whatever we want to call this in the future. We have a podcast already, but we can do another segment of videos on the channel where it's us three talking about shit and just having a good time doing it, you know what I mean? But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one. Later.